Start over?
If I have to.
This is HR of Bad Brains and Human Rights. You're listening to the Tapping Out Show with Jeremy and Matt.
Welcome back to the Tapping Out Show. My name is Jeremy. This is Matt, and we're going to do the infamous
Arrogant Bastard Ale from Stone Brewery, which is down the street. 7.2 alcohol by volume.
This is OG. This is classic. This is one of the original, like, what I would consider craft beers, that, especially with coming out of San Diego
I saw
County.
this beer first in the 90s. And
Oh, definitely the 90s.
Yeah,
No,
for
I'm not
sure.
even going to push that.
I would say at least the 90s. So it's been around for a while. I was just telling Jeremy, I don't remember if I used to like this beer in the 90s. In the early 2000s, I probably hasn't had it in 10, 15 years. So I don't remember if I even like it anymore. But I've always liked the name and the little devil and everything. So I always think they did a really good job with the branding. Stone's always been good at branding and distribution.
Yeah, and that's one of the bigger reasons why we kind of brought this out is that, you know, I've had moments where I either really love or really hate their beers. I'm not really an IPA guy, and they're really good at what they do. I mean, let's face it, IPA is the way they go, and this is so not an IPA. And again, like he said, I remember really liking this beer, but I also
This is a more your kind of beer, but I always like the branding and everything else, but I like these kind of beers more back in those days. I still do. So let's see.
Let's try them out. Crack them. Drink fresh, numbskull.
Trying to.
So it's out the can.
It's got that nice little amber.
That's kind of what I was going to say. I kind of remember it being more like a red or an amber ale because it just had that color. It's got a decent head on it too, jeez. Or maybe I just poured the crap.
No, it's actually good.
So yeah, like Matt pointed out, it's pretty amber. I mean, it's not see-through, but I mean, it gets some light through it and everything else. But the one thing I got to say, and I'm stuffy because it is the middle of the summer and it's kind of, you know, open season everywhere else, but I can smell it from here.
Yeah.
And it's malt.
Sounds like you got the Newport flu.
The Newport flu. Wrong county, buddy. Wrong
Yeah.
county. Anyway, so yeah, it's got a great smell. It's very hoppy, but it always kind of has been. Again, it's kind of an amber ale. It's got a decent head on it. It's got some good carbonation. I think it smells good.
It smells good.
Yeah.
I don't remember it actually.
I kind of remember it smelling kind of weird as a kid. I don't know how else to explain that. Kind of like, you ever notice like Newcastle smelled weird too? Maybe because it was
This was almost like even a high-end kind of Newcastle-y kind of deal. I remember this back in the day. A 7.2 beer was like crazy, right? I mean, that was like a big deal. So I remember this is one of those beers where, I mean, everybody's drinking Coors Light and Budweisers and things. What is that, like in the 5% range? So I mean, this was like one of those man up kind of, you know, step it up to the plate kind of beers. So nowadays, a 7.2, we're like, 7.2, you can get that all day. But I think back in the day, that was a big deal.
This and what was the other big San Diego beer at the time? Racer 5.
Yeah.
I think Racer 5 is about the same alcohol content too.
I think that's still in the 6s, but still was pretty strong for just to get one in a bottle, right? All right. Cheers.
Cheers. It's actually a lot hoppier than I remember.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny. This is actually more my kind of beer now than it was then. This is kind of American version of a malty red, you know, kind of ale,
which is very popular now.
But
the
funny
red
thing,
IPAs
this was a pretty rough beer.
It was also a
back in the
very
day.
malt heavy beer.
Yeah. And nowadays, I think our palates and most, I mean, not that we can crush these, you know, back in those days, but I mean, most people would be like, oh God, you know, I can't handle that. And they would go back to their, you know, Rocky Mountain piss water or whatever they're drinking here. But very good flavor, good palate. I'm glad glad Jeremy actually dug this one up out of the
archives.
The coffers there.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I'm gonna say this. I'm not really gonna get too much of a critique, but because
This is Stone's best beer out of everything
I still think it is Stone's best beer, hands down. Yeah. I'm gonna still rate it, but I'm not gonna give a critique on it because this is one of those beers that have been around for this long for a reason.
No, I think this beer deserves a lot of props because it stood the test of time. Definitely stood the test of time. Plus, it tastes better. I mean, think of some of the beers that we've tried from our past when we've had it, and you've had so many things that are,
all that stuff, yeah.
And it's just like not the same, right? If you gave me, I was drinking Mickey's and stuff like that back then, right? So definitely good beer, standing the test of time. The bitterness is starting to hit me more.
Yeah, it is.
Which is more Jeremy's kind of thing. He's more bitter than I am.
So 1 out of 5, 5 being the best. I'm actually gonna give this a solid 4.
I was gonna say 4 as well.
Okay, well we're gonna leave it at 4 out of 5 for Stone.
4 out of 5.
Arrogant bastard.
Stone.
And the best thing about Stone beers is Stone has a great distribution system. They actually help out a lot of craft breweries in Southern California.
Good job, Stone. They've always been cool. A lot of places have said Stone has helped them out, and I think they even distribute Pliny now.
Your dog's very bad.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and finish this out. You can hit us up. Info, tappingoutshow.com email, and tappingoutshow, all one word, is our social media. You guys have a good night.